Welcome to Holistic Human Performance Podcast. My name is Gena Bradshaw, where we talk all things holistic health, wellness, spirituality, fitness, meditation, energetics, and so much more to help you become the healthiest version of yourself. Let's dive in. This is not medical advice. This is simply to help you on your journey through health, fitness, and wellness. I hope this helps. You can complement this with anything that you are doing currently in your life. Enjoy. Hey guys, Gena here, and I am so excited to announce that the Holistic Human Performance Virtual Wellness Center is officially launched. Yep, that's right. We've officially launched. And this is like having a holistic health and energy coach in your back pocket. If you need a 5-minute reset, okay, great. What do we have? You need breath work. Okay, great. You need a little bit of mobility flow, nutrition coaching. Great. You can access all of these on-demand videos and self-paced digital courses for a 5-day free trial. That's right. I'm giving this to you guys for a 5-day free trial so you can try it out, see if you like it, see if it works for you, and see if it actually is conducive to your lifestyle and it helps you to create change. It is literally like having me in your back pocket. So again, I'm giving you this for a 5-day free trial. Head on over to holistichumanperformance.co and get your free trial today. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Holistic Human Performance Podcast. I'm your host, Gena Bradshaw, and today we have a really intriguing topic. I'm definitely very much excited to speak on this because number one, I love animals. And so today we're really going to be speaking about these intuitive ways that we can connect with our pets, our animals, and also like they deserve to be healthy too. So I'm really excited to get into this. We have Maribeth Decker with us today. She is an intuitive animal communicator, medical intuitive and energy healer, and the founder of the Sacred Grove, where people and pets heal and connect. And she's also an author. I also learned something really cool about you, that you are a retired Navy officer. So I would love to learn about that. So welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, Gena. I'm so glad to be here and share stuff. Whatever comes up, let's talk about it.
I'm down for this. Okay. So why don't you just, tell us a little bit about what you do and then kind of bring us through that journey of like how you even got to be doing what you do.
Okay. So what I do is definitely intuitive. I have a background. I was looking at your background, and we have some similar things going on. Reiki,
Yep.
human design. I heard you mention that, just for knowledge sake. So I was, first off, it's like a disclaimer. I was not born, as far as I know, communicating with animals. Although all my life I loved animals, and we were lucky enough we had cats in the house growing up. And so it was an interesting journey. I would say I'm going to skip to the part where things shifted for me.
Yeah.
So I had finished my Navy career. I was getting the feeling that I was towards the end of my work with an association that I really loved, lots of great people. And I had this desire to learn massage out of nowhere. So I'm doing this on this side, full-time job doing that. And there I met somebody who was a Reiki master and said, are you interested? I'm like, yeah, that's really cool. And that got me on my path, became a Reiki master, took a lot of great courses in energy healing. And that's when my dog started communicating with me.
Oh.
and the first two that came through, they had passed. They were not physically present anymore. Um, I love this story. My doggy Timmy was the first to come. Timmy, he was a poi dog from when we were stationed in Hawaii. We found him at St. Timothy's of Aiea Church. So his
Mm.
name, full name St. Timothy, short name Timmy. He came back, and I'm sorry, I'm looking over here because I'm at the stove
Hmm.
cooking some probably awful dinner for my kids. Um, I see him out of the corner of my eye, sitting in the dining room, and he doesn't look like the things you think about a ghost. You know, you see through him into the chair, and he looks
Hmm.
like he was sitting right there.
Hmm.
And Timmy, and he had this big grin on his face. He was smiling. He's a one ear up, one ear down guy, just like that with a
Oh.
big, and he's gone. But I knew, and I have to say this to people, especially if you lost your animals and they passed on. He still survived his body dying. He was still there. He's a complete individual. I will even call him a soul.
Mm.
He was happy, and he took the time to come back and tell me all that. In that split second, I knew he was happy and he loved me because he came back to say hi. And from there, I had some other experiences. Some of them started to be with my animals who were still in the flesh. And when my dog Tibor started sending me, it felt like visions. You know, for me, it was like I was seeing like a little movie in my mind. And it
Mm.
happened once. I'm like, well, that's weird because he's sitting on the couch next to me. Then it happened again. And it was like watching somebody being trained as an attack dog or a guard dog. I'm like, I don't know what's going on. My friend Mary said, I told her, she says, Maribeth, that's animal communication. I said, there's such a thing as animal communication, really? So, so I got training at it on purpose. I'm somebody who I like to learn.
Yeah.
And yeah. And at that point, I realized I could combine my energy healing that I was doing just for people and doing it for mostly pets,
Mm.
animals in the family, and combine it with animal communication. And the people that you work with who bring their animal to you, and most of it's uh, via Zoom when I say bring their animal,
Hmm.
but they're so open. And so I just fell in love with the fact that I get to communicate with the animals and people who are willing to hear what I have to say. So that brought me in to communicating. But I also noticed that I could feel things in the body. And I think that was the start of medical intuition.
So you have different gifts of like clairvoyance, yeah. So you have a
Dude,
couple of the clairs that you're utilizing in order to communicate and, hold healing
exactly.
space. Hmm.
And I think, my sense is well, I know everybody's hooked up for that. They just got to
Tap in.
tap in. Yeah.
Yeah.
So knowing was like my first one where I just would know something. And then um, visuals were very easy to come through. And then words started coming through. And then physical feelings like I could feel how anxiety felt, or I could start to feel what part of the body wasn't feeling, was either in pain or there was something wrong. Now I'm not diagnosing,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
so I added that in and started to get some real good training on that, and then I could use my healing to help for both the emotional and the physical stuff,
Mm.
and combined them all, and also finally I teach animal communication to people with the specific idea of connecting with those souls in their own family, but of course they can do it with others as well.
Yeah.
So I'll stop there because that was a
No,
lot.
that's really fascinating because I didn't understand my gifts. Like I work with humans. So but like I can look at my dog and I can like know what she wants. I'm like, "What do you want?" And I like know what she's like saying to me. But I'm also very open. Like, but I think it's really cool and it's also very interesting how you had this desire of coming out of something like being a Navy officer, right? Yeah, Navy
Yeah,
officer. Something so regimented and logical and just like very structured. You come out and you're like, I have this desire to learn massage. And then that kind of like opened, but the coolest part is you followed that desire because
yeah,
that led you to where you're at. And so many people ignore a desire that like pops up into their being and it's like, you know, I want to, learn acupuncture or whatever it may be, or like become an energy healer. Like follow that intuition because that's the nudge that you got to go this way. You got to go down this path.
exactly, exactly. And I got to say, even with the Navy, I know there's the regiment and the structure, and I don't dislike structure.
Yeah.
What they did was it, thank you, Navy, because leaving my hometown,
Hmm.
love you, Buffalo, but leaving Buffalo and getting out to various other places in the world, that was also part of my like, whoa,
Yeah.
there's a lot more out here than I thought. There's
Yeah.
people who think different, who live different. Even folks in the Navy who came from different parts of the U.S. It was. I have to say thank you for that because my mind expanded there and through all these different cultures, both U.S. based and world based. It was, and I thank myself for just saying yes to doing something that sounded really scary.
That is,
Oh,
yeah, absolutely. Because most people wouldn't do that. It's
yeah,
it's a risk that, you wanted to take and you took the action. You had that nudge, go do this, go do that. It's like these breadcrumbs that lead us up to this point. And now you're an animal intuitive and energy healer for
yeah.
animals, which is amazing.
It is really, really, really wonderful. And I think the best part is that we find out that animals have a depth to them that we and some people still attribute to only human beings can do this.
Mm,
You know, um, feelings of grief, feelings of anxiety, feelings of love, um, caring, um, and even misunderstanding. Sometimes seeing a behavior and giving it their own uh, interpretation when maybe that's not right. So there's all sorts of things. There's a depth to animals that somehow I don't know if they picked it up because they're starting to live with us
I
in
could I
families.
could I could see that being a
Yeah,
thing. Yeah, I could see that kind of like ingrained in like their DNA almost.
yeah, yeah. And so they're picking more things up. And there's a lot, I love it that there's a lot of people out there who are looking at different species in different ways and seeing how elephants and I think it was whales, we see the mourning and the remembering of some of their family members who've passed. And I see it also in our own and even my own family, my own cats who lost their companions a couple years ago. And so where I'm going with this is that there's an opening now for us humans to get with the program and
Mm,
see even more species as having a depth to them
mm.
than maybe we were brought up with.
Absolutely, because to be honest with you, I've been to numerous vets And like I've been through like 5 different vets because they really didn't take the time. They were pushing certain things that I was like, hold up, like, no, I don't want to. It's just like us when we go to the doctors and they try to push something on us. And I'm not saying you don't need vets. We need vets. I'm saying,
Yeah.
like, let's have options here where we can give our pets the healing that they deserve, just like us, right? There's acupuncture, there's energy healing, there's crystals. There's so many things that you can utilize to help your pet's health and well-being and, not have anxiety or there's so many different things. It's just like us as human beings. They have a nervous system, they have organs, they have a soul. So I think that's really, I mean, for me personally, I'm just more open to that just because of the work that I do. And so when I find someone like you come on board and do this type of work, it's like, hey, like people need to know about this. Like this is an option here.
Thank you for saying that, because I'm going to tie it into the book I wrote, if that's okay.
Yeah,
Because all
tell us
right,
about it.
so I did a second version of my book, Peace and Passing: Comfort for Loving Humans During Animal Transitions.
Mm,
And the second version, I did it because I realized that our grief as humans doesn't come as we're deciding if it's time to let them go.
mm,
Our grief starts as soon as we start to see them slow down, they can't do things like they did, or we get a really tough diagnosis and it can be way before they pass, but
mm,
we're already dealing with it because we love to look forward and become anxious and try to figure things out with our brain. And what I did was I put a whole section in there about therapies that you just gave a beautiful list of things you can do in addition to Western medicine. I'm not
mm.
saying everybody makes their own choice.
Right.
I love the combination. I know I've used traditional Chinese medicine,
Absolutely.
acupuncture, yep. And it worked till it didn't. And while it did, my doggies they got around and got to walk for so much longer. My kitty's doing acupuncture so she can get up those stairs and jump up. Anyway, that was part of it because I wanted to help people manage or navigate that last part of their animal's life and see how they can help both them and their animals have more joy even in that last leg of their life.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm curious. I believe in past lives. And I'm curious about your thoughts on pets and like I literally look at my dog sometimes and I'm like, I swear you were my child in a past life. Like I don't know, but it's just like this connection we have. And so I'm curious on your thoughts as to like when pets come into our lives, like, is that, and you mentioned something about this was when you saw your dog Timmy, he was a soul. So what are your thoughts on that? Like, how does it work in terms of, that whole transition phase and then coming into physical form? How does that work?
Okay. So it's another disclaimer. It's like, this is what my experience has been.
Right, right, right. Based on your experience, of
Okay.
course.
So I also believe in past lives. I've believed it for a really long time. It just made a lot more sense. I like the idea that we get to practice because
Yeah.
if you only
Help
get
us all.
one, boy, oh boy, we're in trouble. And I thought, and I understood and heard the term soul families, where there's a bunch of souls that continue to, we got stuff, we got issues, and we come back and play different roles to help each other. So when Timmy, yeah, Timmy came in. Let's see, I'll even go back further. When
Mhm.
my cat Mac came in, I kept calling Mac Tom. Now, Tom was a cat that my grandma and grandpa had. And I have a picture of me being about 2 years old, crouched down with my arm over him, and we're both looking into the ditch at my grandparents' house. And I have even at that young age, I can feel how much I love that guy. I felt like Mac was coming back. And so I also felt Timmy came back as Tibor. I just had that sense.
Mm,
I have met people who, just like you, Jenna, who said, boy, oh boy, this, you sure feel like we were this in our past life, and it's humans.
mm,
So I think it's possible. And I also believe that they do, as much as humans have, that they have souls. And there are some belief systems that will say, yes, that's
mm.
true. And so they're, at some level, they are looking for enlightenment, if you can say those words, of getting more out of this life.
Mm.
And they're coming back and being with us again. So I would say go with it. You know, if that's what you feel, it's probably true. Let's just say it is true. Let's go there.
Yeah, we'll say that.
Your kid came back, which is probably a much. I think maybe there's more fun to be had.
Yeah, it's true. I wish I had her with me. She's at my parents right now, but
Oh, okay.
I wanted her to meet you. But I definitely want to I reached out to you before. I definitely want to like do a session to kind of like she's 8 years old and some things are happening and I'm like, whoa, whoa, let's work on this. I almost feel like so I moved and I almost feel like it might be a little bit of emotional for her. She is a little bit of an anxious dog. She's a small breed, Maltese Yorkie, and I don't know. I'm just like, like I changed her food and like all these things, and it's still these symptoms are kind of lingering, and I'm like, this is interesting. So I'm curious what will come up.
Yeah, I've found so many times that there is some kind of emotional component, and when you're addressing that, just like in humans, that then the body can heal itself,
Yeah,
be more amenable to the things that you're doing to help them get better or feel better. So yeah, I'd love to do that with you.
yeah. No,
Yeah.
I definitely again, it's just a matter of for me personally, like I want to do things that she freaks out when I take her to the vet. So like I want to do things that are going to help her like so it's not like that added stress. And
Mhm.
obviously, like if she really needs to go, we'll go to the vet and we'll figure it out. But, I don't want to it's kind of like let's like take these steps of the basics first, which again, this is why I'm having you on. I want people to know that this is like an option.
Yeah.
And it almost gives you like a sense of relief too, where it's not like the only resource you have is to go to the vet. You know what I mean?
Yes, I do. I do. And there are times, and I like that you're bringing this up because there are times, um, I'm going to say this and say this is not all vets, but I have met vets. People have told me about vets who've brought their ailing cat or dog in, and the vet is making a very strong recommendation to euthanize. And they're doing it based on what they see physically.
Yeah.
And yet their person isn't ready. And actually, in my book, I say, you get to say not yet. I had a very intuitive friend out in Southern California. She knew her cat had a little bit more time, and he
Yeah.
wanted to spend it outside, just lounging around. He couldn't walk much, and so she says, "No, we're taking him home, and I'll know when he's ready." So yes, and I think in other areas that can be true. That you can say, "Let me look at alternatives. What else can I do?" We're just not ready yet.
Yeah.
And
And that's powerful too, because again, it's not like the animal can make its decision. You're the caretaker. You're the one that has to speak up and advocate
yes,
for your pet. And like that's a thing ttoo, you know?
it is.
All it's so important.
I even I don't it's I guess a download that came to me, and I believe that animals, when they come in, because they come in by choice, they pick us, we pick them.
Hmm.
They wrote a medical power of attorney and handed it to us and said, okay, I give you permission to make decisions for me because I chose you, I love you, do what you got to do. And
Wow.
that's really important to hear because a lot of people, after their animals have passed, the big questions are, did I keep them too long? Did
Mm.
I end their lives too quickly? Are they mad at me? Have they got a grudge? And my experience has been no, they don't have a grudge. They bring your love with them into the next life. That's where they're at. They're like, I'm loving this energy body. Almost like 99% of the time. There's a couple exceptions, but they are so few and far between, um, that they really do give us permission to do the best we can because we're doing it out of love,
Mm.
and that makes it good.
Yeah. You must get so much joy out of this work.
I do. I
Like, how could
do.
you not love animals?
I know. I, just a quick story. I was working with somebody last week, and she told me, and it's sad. Her bulldog, died suddenly after he ate breakfast. Not expected at all. Very sad. However, that morning she took the other bulldog and she said to her guy, to Ozzy, said, I could use a couple signs that you're okay. So she's driving and she looks up, and on the bumper in front of her is a picture of a bulldog, wings, and little happy faces
I have full
right in
body
front of her.
chills.
And there's more. And then she goes by her favorite gas station. She stops at all the time. And for the first time, and she says she's been by there hundreds, maybe thousands, I don't know, times, there's a big, what she called a fry truck, a food truck with hamburgers and French fries plastered all over. And that was one of his biggest little um, things that she'd give him once in a while, is a
Yeah.
hamburger and a couple of fries. And she says, well, you just let me know that you are just fine, Ozzy. You are just a happy guy. So,
Oh, that's so
isn't that
sweet.
nice? Yeah,
Yeah,
and
that
it
is
came through
sweet.
so quickly. So
Yeah.
she has that. Even though she's got the sorrow, she's also got the knowledge that he's okay.
Yeah. That's very important for, pet owners to know. Like when your pet passes on and transitions, like know that there are people like you out there that can help with that transition process and connecting with your animal on the other side, to give you some of that love and joy.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, I really love doing that.
Yeah.
It's good stuff.
So as we wrap up, are there any words of wisdom that you would like to leave the listeners?
I guess because we just I just had the story of Ozzy. I'm going to talk about when we notice that our animals are winding down, maybe they're losing their sight or her hearing or not walking well, or we got that hard diagnosis. I'd like to give it a different mindset. Please imagine that they're saying to you, I'm not dead yet. Come back to now, because that's where I'm at. I didn't hear the diagnosis. I
Yeah.
know what's going on in my body. And if I please ask you, I please, I'm asking you to see, have your grief, but see how you can still find joy with them every way that you can. while they're still on the planet, and focus on that as much as the sadness, because you're projecting and you're missing out on the now. And they will also pick up on it. So grief is grief. We can't just push it away, but you can move into the joy of still having them with you. And I would ask you to remember that. That's what they're really asking for.
Love that. Be present.
Thank you.
Thank you so, so much. So, where can people find you?
The best place to find me is on my website, sacredgrove.com, SACREDGROVE.com. It has a way to contact me, my email address and all that. And I've worked really hard to give you good information. So I would ask people to go there.
Yeah,
Thank you.
perfect. Thank you. Thank you so much for coming on. It was such a great conversation. And I know that the listeners will find this extremely informative.
Thank you, Gena. This was such a lovely opportunity to share this information.
Oh, you're so welcome. Guys, if you like this episode, like, share, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.